You know, in the world of rugby, there's always more than meets the eye. Sometimes, what looks like a simple selection decision can spark intense debate, stir emotions, and even lead to accusations of disrespect. Wallabies head coach Joe Schmidt is no stranger to the pressures of international rugby, but ahead of Australia's rematch against the Springboks, Schmidt found himself in the middle of a swirling controversy, not of his own making, but very much relevant to the task at hand. The controversy centers around Springboks head coach Rassie and his latest selection choices, which some have labeled as disrespectful after South Africa's dominant win in round 1. Now here's where it gets interesting. Schmidt isn't one to jump on the bandwagon of criticism. In fact, he sees a lot of parallels between what Erasmus is doing and his own approach with the Wallabies. Probably the same way we're trying to work out a broader squad at the moment, Schmidt explained to reporters. He drew on his extensive experience in international rugby, noting, "Having been involved in international rugby for 10 years, you've got to be transitioning your squad." Erasmus's selection strategy, which saw a mix of seasoned veterans and less experienced players take the field, has been viewed by some as a calculated risk, a move that could easily be misinterpreted as underestimating the opposition, but Schmidt doesn't see it that way. "My perception would be that South Africa have depth," he said, pointing out that while Erasmus may be rotating his squad, key players like Pieter-Steph du Toit remain constants. "I don't see Pieter-Steph du Toit getting too many rests because he's a freakish athlete." For Schmidt, the Springboks approach is less about disrespect and more about confidence. Confidence in their own team and in their depth. "I think the element of risk for Rassie is an element of confidence he's got in his own team, not aiming up regarding us," Schmidt remarked. He acknowledged that while there might be cracks, South Africa has some decent men to put in them, thanks to their well-stocked bench with nearly 500 caps worth of experience. Of course, Schmidt isn't just sitting back and watching. He's made his own adjustments, with 5 changes to the starting 15 after the Wallabies were thoroughly dominated in Brisbane. The challenge is steep, especially with another expected influx of South African fans at the upcoming match in Perth. But Schmidt remains hopeful that Wallaby supporters will turn up in force to rally behind their team. So, what do you think? Is Rassie Erasmus showing disrespect with his squad rotation, or is he simply playing the long game, building a team with the depth to dominate for years to come? And what about Joe Schmidt? Can he turn the Wallabies' fortunes around in Perth, or are we looking at another tough day at the office? Share your thoughts, and as always, stay tuned to Green and Gold Army News for the latest and most controversial takes in the rugby world.